Welcome back. I am joined by the former White House press secretary for the Obama administration, Robert Gibbs, a face many know. And he joins us as the current White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, self-isolates after contracting COVID. You see her there removing her mask as she spoke to reporters who remained masked. She has been under fire. And Robert, as with everyone who gets this virus, known or not, wish her a speedy recovery. But your views on the White House communications debacles here?
Well, absolutely. I wish everybody who has been exposed to this or who has tested positive for this, wish them well and to get well quite quickly. I think we've seen over the past several days, starting with that briefing on Saturday from the president's doctor, the White House has bungled this at every single opportunity that it had. It had a moment in which it could have elevated what was happening with the president into something larger. Even you heard him say it in the video last night, and you thought maybe he was going to make that turn where he says, I've learned a lot about coronavirus. And then the next thing is, as you've talked about in the show today, don't let it dominate you. Maybe I'm immune. He's doing this all without a mask. Public health emergencies are moments where our leaders have to model the behavior we want the rest of the public to follow. And at each and every opportunity, the president and his administration has failed miserably to do that. It's why we continue to struggle with this, despite the fact that many other countries are not.
Yeah. And I mentioned McEnany's issues. She was among those at the Rose Garden event, of course, that was seen as a super spreader event. Her diagnosis was revealed just yesterday. This is the period after Trump tested positive. Now, she did not isolate at that point. 4 staffers who work for her have tested positive. She then briefed reporters, as mentioned, without the mask. 3 White House reporters have also tested positive, and she has been evasive on the issue of Trump's health.
What kind of tests the president got?
I'm not going to get in exactly what type of test.
What were they, those symptoms?
I'm not going to get into the president's symptoms exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to give you a detailed readout with timestamps of every time the president's tested. Again, not giving a detailed readout of his testing.
You've been in that job. It's not easy, maybe even harder than it looks, regardless of the era that you're in. But how do you grade her?
Well, look, I think you saw in that video that the American public deserves information about the president's health. I stood up there and declined to give answers to certain things at certain times. But when we get into a point where the president has been moved from the White House via Marine One to Walter Reed on Saturday or Friday night, and you saw both Kayleigh McEnany, you saw Dr. Conley, you've seen others decline to go through the president's health in a moment where it's important for the American people. It's important for our national security. It's important the signal that we send the rest of the world. It's important for the transparency of how we do democracy. And so I think at every single opportunity, they've really failed to set the right example. And I think, we still don't know critical things. Even Dr. Conley's last in-person briefing, we asked, did the president have pneumonia? And he didn't want to get into it. When was his last negative test, which will bear on when he can get back onto the campaign trail? Is he safe and not contagious in order to participate in a debate? These are things that aren't just idle speculation and curiosity by the press corps. And as you mentioned, too, we not only have reporters and staffers with this, but now we've got reporters' wives who have this, right? There's no contact tracing that's going on. None of the basic things that this administration has promised that this country should be doing for months now to get rid of and to get beyond this, none of that's happening in a building with the most resources of any in this country.
Now, Robert, on a slightly lighter note, you took a question about communication and turned it to a substance in public health. So for a Washington, campaign veteran, that's you get an extra gold star for that. I appreciate you being substantive.
Good.
The last point is something where, again, so many of these things become political comparisons, but I offer them to the audience more for historical context. It's hard in government to present a moving target and hold credibility. But President Obama, who sometimes was faulted for his academic or intellectual style, history bears out he did that well, facing swine flu scares, the Ebola scare, and he was very clear about basically the communications meeting the scientific method. You're going to follow the science, which is unfolding before our eyes in a potential emergency. We're going to listen to the doctors. Look at just the comparison.
This is obviously a serious situation, serious enough to take the utmost precautions.
Healthy individuals should be able to fully recover.
We know the science. We know how to prevent it from spreading. We know that if we take the proper steps, we can save lives.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Robert, do you see this as a tomato-tomato comparison or a meaningful difference?
Oh, I think it's a meaningful difference. I think what you saw from President Obama, there's calm, there's reassurance, and quite frankly, there's trusting people to understand when you give them the right information that they'll come to the right conclusions. He absolutely believed that, still does. And I think as we've seen, and you saw it in the polling you showed earlier in your show, when 30% of the people, only 30% of the people in this country believe what they're hearing about the president's own health, they know that what they're being sold is a bill of goods. They know it isn't true. They know that things are more serious, and they want to be treated on the level. They want to be respected. They want to have that information. And once you give that to them in that calm manner, in that way that trusts their ability to do it, they'll do the right thing with it. You have to trust the American people. And I just don't think that Donald Trump has tried to pull a fast one as it relates to coronavirus since it was first presented to him. He said it would go away. He said it was completely under control. None of that is borne out to be at all true. And I think he's paying a political price for it. And America is paying a decidedly tragic public health price for it.
Yeah. Having been in that post and in those tough calls, interesting to get your perspective here. Robert Gibbs, as always, join us here on MSNBC. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.